welcome to another video. I hope the screen is not too dark. I'm having some lighting issues, like my camera before I turn on video mode and it's just in selfie mode shows me one coloring and I'm like, oh hey, that's good, and then I hit record and it gets darker. So I'm hoping to fix that in like video editing or something like that. We'll see how that works. But for now, I just wanted to give you guys an update on how my participation in the book Junkie trials is going. It has been 1 week, roughly. It depends on when you started. So 1 week is technically tomorrow if you started on July the 1st. 1 week was technically Thursday, a couple of days ago, when I started on June the 28th as a Magi. However, Saturday just is a good day for me, I think, to film these updates and make sure they're all put together and they are just, it just seemed like a good day. So I think I'll do these updates on Saturdays. And yeah, so first of all, I'm excited by this new camera angle thing that I figured out. I'm actually in my bedroom, and so I have my camera up on the bed frame post thingy on the back, and then this is what my bedroom wall looks like, and they're all plain. All my backgrounds are going to be plain until we move, and maybe even a couple of months after that, because we don't decorate. So that's a thing. We don't have any like wall decorations and very basic furniture, so like no shelves or anything like that. But I want to get like a nice setup going someday. That day is not today. However, it is day 6 of the Book Junkie trials, or day 9 since the Magi started, and I was going to do this in a series of vlog clips, like day by day, and I got the first 2 days filmed, but then I got tired. That's a lot to do for me, and like I'm just in my pajamas most of the day, and like I'm wearing them right now. I didn't want to get out of them for this video, and it's just a lot. I combed my hair for this. Am I gonna do that every day when I don't have to? And I really don't have to right now, so it is what it is. I decided after that I would just do a week like recap at the end of the week. This video will probably start with the first 2 vlog clips that I did manage to film, and then from here on out we'll probably do this until I can get around easier. Part of the reason why I'm in my pajamas all day, or I'm just hesitant to fix everything or get in front of the camera, is that my ankle still hurts, and so going to my closet is hard, and getting my hair combed is hard because I have to navigate in front of a mirror, and I just don't like it. It's a hard time. So when that all fixes, maybe I'll do a daily vlog, something, maybe towards the end of the readathon, when I hope my ankle has gotten significantly better, because it's been almost a month now. Yeah, but point being, started on June the 28th, and I started to read Scythe. And this time I'm not going to try to shove the iPad close enough for you to see the cover. You guys saw the covers during my, what was it called? My TBR announcement video. And you will see, I hope you'll see them, because I hope I'll be able to put a picture of them somewhere between clips when I talk about them, or maybe in a corner. I don't know if I'm fancy enough to do that, but we'll see what kind of editing I figure out in a second when I edit this video. But yeah, so I started with Scythe by Neil Shusterman on Thursday, June the 28th, and I finished it Friday, June the 29th. So that was a good book. I finished it over the course of 2 days, and it was a good read. It was faster than I expected it to be, and honestly, it was not about what I thought it would be. There was a competition that surprised me, some characters that I thought would be there the whole time that weren't, and it was good. It didn't change my life. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, because some of the logic behind the conflict, even though the conflict was a little surprising, it wasn't anything that I thought made sense. Like, conflict arises because there are certain rules in the world that certain situations arise and people are like, oh, this has never happened before, how are we going to deal with this? And then they come up with this random way to deal with it that is like, does it make sense? And I feel like the rules they have established implicitly define how to deal in this situation too. Like, I feel like there's no reason why the new situation means that there have to be new rules. But for some reason, everyone was all confused and thought, oh no, we need new rules. And then they started this conflict. And so some of that logic is why I did not give it 4 stars. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. And then I'll talk about this later, but basically that's similar to what happened with Recursion. It would have been 4 stars if it were a little more believable. I gave it 3.5 stars. That will be another video. But I think that if a book is generally enjoyable, like I really like it, I get through it and I enjoy that a lot, it's like 4 stars. But it loses points for things like feasibility. And I'm not talking about suspending disbelief. I mean, I read fantasy. I expect to read things that are not real. But if you're trying to justify your system with a certain kind of logic, that logic should be pretty sound. And if it's not, then I'm skeptical. Like, I can't suspend my disbelief if the logic and explanations you're giving me don't make the most sense. And so, yeah, that's that. Then starting on Sunday, June the 30th, I started to read Song of Achilles, and that was a 5-star read. Song of Achilles was so good. It was so good. It was one of the best things I've read in a while. I mean, I haven't read very much in a while, so that's not like it's not easy to do that. But Song of Achilles really made me excited to read. Like, Scythe, I read easily because it was interesting. And I liked it. There was enough like action and character intrigue that I was like, oh hey, this is good. But Song of Achilles was an investment. It was an emotional investment and it paid off. Like, it was so good. It was so good. I loved that book. Song of Achilles follows the story of Patroclus and Achilles from Greek mythology. And it's a romance and it's really good. And I don't know anything about the myth. I think their characters, like, originally in the Iliad. Not 100% sure. And I don't know. I've never read the Iliad. So I didn't really know anything about them. I knew a little bit about Achilles and I'd never heard of Patroclus before. So it was really good. And it was just like reading this book at a certain point was like watching the characters run towards like something you knew would be devastating, and for some reason they didn't know, and you're just forced to sit there and read until they figure out what's going to happen. And it was so sad. Like, it was so hard to read at points because I was just like, why are you doing this? Why is this happening? And you can't talk to them, and like by the time you're feeling all these things, you've like invested in them, like you love the characters, and it's really good. I loved that book. That is my favorite so far that I've done for this readathon. I finished 3 and I'm currently on my 4th read, so it was good. Next, I read Throne of Glass by, Song of Achilles was by Madeline Miller. Throne of Glass is by Sarah J. Maas, and it was okay. I was honestly underwhelmed and a little disappointed by it. It was probably the book I was most excited for in this readathon, and it was one of the more disappointing ones. It has been on my to be read list for years. I mean, this book was published in 2012 and I added it to my Goodreads to be read list in like 2013. Like, when I added this book, it was new. And then I just never ever read it. And now it's like a 7-book series and I'm just now reading the first one. And I had a lot of high hopes. So it's about a girl, Selena, Sardantes or something like that, who is an 18-year-old assassin that has been serving time in these slave mines they're called Endovier, and they're in the world. I forget what the name of the country is, but they're these really harsh slave mines and people die all the time there, and you're not really even expected to last more than a couple of months. But she has actually lived a year there, and she gets taken out of these mines by the prince, who offers her this deal, like lets her know about this competition that his father is having to find the king's champion. And the king's champion will be like his assassin, his spy, just someone undercover and underground that will do anything he wants them to do. And so there's this competition where like lots of different lords and people have sponsored their champions, and there's going to be a competition where they're all going to compete against each other, and the one who wins gets to be the king's champion. And if they win, they're each being given different kinds of forgivenesses and immunities for their past crimes, because they're almost all criminals. And that's part of why I guess they're chosen, is like morally gray people who have high skill sets. And if she wins, she gets to leave Endovier. She doesn't have to return to the slave mines, and she's free again. Her past crimes are forgiven. She gets her life back. And so that's what motivates her to participate in this competition. Even though the king guy is pretty bad, he's been like conquering nearby kingdoms and is like trying to take over everything. I'm waving around my hair comb. Should not do that. But he's trying to do that. And so you have this king that's like not the best, but the prize is so good that she can't not be in the competition. And that sounds so amazing. I was like, oh my god, she's 18 and she's like the best assassin in this land. Like, there's going to be so much cool stuff. She must be so awesome. And then I was annoyed. So the first thing that annoyed me is that when we first meet her in the first like chapter, we spend significant amounts of time with her being so worried about how the prince looks and how she looks, because she's just been in these mines, so she's like roughed up, she's dirty, she's super skinny because they don't feed her very well. And like the prince is all put together and he's handsome or whatever. And that got me so mad. I was like, why is she focusing on this? She has more important concerns. What? 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 Why is this like 3 paragraphs in like a row, and then 1 paragraph after every line of dialogue that we're talking about how the prince looks and how she looks, and and like I guess there's a certain amount of pride going on where she's like been diminished in this way, but like for every line where she's thinking about something cool, like how she could kill the prince or how she could make her escape, there's like 5 times as many lines where she's like, why does the prince get to be so handsome, and why do I not have why, and I can't believe I look so bad in this really nice room with this prince that looks so handsome. I was like, what? And that keeps going for the whole book. She is unusually like, that's a center focus. Like, if I had to pick themes for this book, one of the themes would be how the prince looks, and like he has a captain of the guard that she also likes to look at a lot. And later they like make it part of her character to mention that she really likes clothes and she really likes nice clothes. I guess I just didn't want that to be such a focus. Like, it felt to me really heavy-handed, this focus. Necessary because there's a heavy-handed romance in here. Heavy-handed. I mean, you spend she spends so much time looking at people and comparing their looks and stuff and thinking about them, because eventually there's a romance with one of them. And by one of them, I just mean like someone in the book. And it doesn't make any sense to me, the romance. It seems like it starts from a place that's not good. Like, I hate those romances that start with like mean banter. I don't get it. I don't get it because it's like two people who seem to not like each other, and then somehow like their sexual chemistry overwhelms them and suddenly they're like together, or like it's a thing, and oh my god, don't like it. And so that annoyed me. The characters also didn't seem to have chemistry to me. They didn't seem like they were a good fit for each other. And um eventually, like later in the book, I thought I had more sympathy for it, but like it started way too early and didn't make sense to me. And there's another character that I like more, and I'm just really confused with some of the themes that were emphasized that I was not expecting to be like a big deal. There was not nearly enough fighting. Like the competition, so many aspects of the competition actually get looked over, like, and then 2 weeks passed and we had two competitions or two tests or something like that, and it's like I wanted to see those tests, but I didn't get to see those tests because you were looking at his face. That's how I felt about this book. I am going to give it a chance. I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to read the second one because I hope that when I hope she eventually leaves the castle. Like, so much of this takes place in a court because it's a king's tournament, and I hope that if she leaves the castle, more stuff will happen. And I hope that like the people and her friends and stuff all develop a little more, and things like I want to like the characters more. I don't like them very much. I like one character, and the ending was okay. It got really weird. I feel like I was set up to believe certain things about the world, and then lots of other things are coming in, and I didn't know that. And that might be my fault. I didn't know exactly what degree of fantasy to expect with this book. So I forgive it for that. And I'm excited-ish to see what happens in the second book, just because I do still hold some hope for it and think that it will get better. And yeah, so I was disappointing. I think I gave it 3.5 stars or something like that. But it was a fast read. Like, it was easy, it was straightforward, it was mildly interesting. It wasn't the story I wanted, but it was entertaining enough. However, my fourth read for this readathon, the one about dragons, is called His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik. And I'm struggling with this book. It is weird. First of all, it's like I expected it to be more fantasy than it is, but it's like 10% fantasy, 90% historical fiction. It takes place during the Napoleonic Wars, which I didn't even know what those were. Like, my history is not good. I had to ask someone yesterday and he told me. I could have looked it up at any point too. I just am not into history. Otherwise, I would know what the Napoleonic Wars are exactly. But so I'm missing some context, and that might be like my own lack of historical knowledge for this novel. It's like I don't have enough context. But it involves the Napoleonic Wars if there were dragons, which to me, after reading this book, is basically the Napoleonic Wars if there were airplanes, which aren't nearly that as interesting. Like, the dragons don't have, at least at this point, maybe halfway through the first book of like a trilogy, I think, the dragons don't have enough of an impact. They're just there and they fly for the army. That's an airplane. Sometimes they breathe fire, but a lot of them don't. So that's an airplane. And why are they treating dragons like airplanes? And why aren't they doing cooler stuff? And I hope that there would be more magical elements in here, but so far I haven't found any. It's just dragons that fly. And that's it. And then the main protagonist right now, the main guy whose story we're following, he is as boring as a plank of wood. He has no motivation except duty to the crown. Like, that's it. Every single page he's talking about his duty and he has to follow his duty, and that's it. And I don't know anything about him. Like, he even has this at the very beginning. We learn that he has like he had a fling with like a woman, and him becoming an aviator, that's the people who fly dragons, would interrupt that fling because he wouldn't be able to be with her because the dragon would take up so much of his time, right? And it's like, okay. And then that's over. Like, she doesn't matter at all almost. And nothing else matters at all to him. He has no personality except a strange amount of duty where he just wants to be loyal to his king or something. And that's it. That's it. That's all I can describe about him. He has like the most basic name. If he's not talking about duty, he's talking about respect. Like, he was a captain on a ship before things happen, and he's used to being respected in a certain way, and then he goes somewhere else where they're far more informal and they treat him like an outsider, so he's like not into that. And he's always talking about why they don't treat him with more respect, and like this wouldn't stand when he was in the Navy, and stuff like that. And he's always commenting on like other people's manners and like what they should be doing and how they should be treating him and how they should be treating each other and how clean their clothes are and how like well kept they are. And I just don't care. I don't care about what's happening in this story. The one good part, like the light at the end of the tunnel, is that we do follow a dragon very closely, and this world dragons can talk and they get very close with their humans. And this dragon is so cute. I really love the dragon. The dragon is my favorite character. But that's it. That's it. I really like the dragon. And I'm having a hard time reading it. I've been reading it for 2 days and I'm barely halfway through. And I hoped to finish Stardust by tomorrow. Is that going to happen when I woke up at noon today? Probably not, because just today I still have to go grocery shopping, which takes like 2 hours because I have to take a bus to and from, and plus the hour between like getting dropped off at the grocery store and then the hour when it like picks us up. We're stuck there for that hour, even if grocery shopping doesn't take us an hour, which admittedly it usually does, because we shop for a week at a time. But so I have to do that, and then I need to, what else do I need to do? Oh, I still have to be studying for my independent study, and then I have to edit this video, and we need to clean the apartment because it's kind of a wreck, and we've given our landlord our 30 days notice, which means that he can give us 12 to 24 hours warning before he wants to like bring someone who might move in after us to come and view the apartment, which means the apartment has to be clean, like cleaner than usual, and it's dirtier than usual right now. So we have to do that, and there's only so much I can do from on one leg and like just sitting down. I think I will be folding laundry and tidying my desk. Like that's about what I can do right now. So like a lot of stuff, lots of things to do today. I don't know how much I'll be able to read. Yesterday I was so tired of this book, I started listening to the audiobook for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's so fun. I actually want to keep reading that, but I need to finish the quest, and I want to finish the quest this week or shortly thereafter because I want to be able to do, there are like approximately 4 weeks in the whole challenge, and so if I can do one team's prompts per week, I can actually finish all 17 prompts, which I really want to do because I'm super interested in the power-ups that will happen next year. And I really want to do this readathon next year. I probably won't get to be as involved because I will have summer classes next year, but still, I'm excited and I want that power-up. So I don't even know what it is. Like, no one knows what it is because it hasn't been announced yet, but I want it. So I want to get through all 17 prompts. And I really, truly believe I can do it if I like the book. And I don't like the book right now. So that's a struggle, but I hope to get through it somehow. I might take longer to read this book and like read parts of it a day while reading everything else. So I can't finish the books out of order, but I can read this book a little bit, but then start Stardust so that over the next couple of days I get maybe halfway through Stardust and maybe another quarter of the way through the other book, and then start reading some of my other prompts as well. And then eventually finish this book so that I can finish Stardust and then have been some part of the way through my other prompts. That's probably how I'm going to do this, because then I actually feel productive, like I'm working towards these prompts, but I don't have to sit there and force myself to read this book that I don't really like. Yeah. And so that's where I am with the readathon. I'm really excited for what happens next week and to see how far I get. I will definitely finish the main path by next week. If I don't, I'm seriously behind, but I think I can finish the main path by next week. Things will get busier because part of why I read so quickly this week is that I did skip a couple of days of my independent study work and I want to catch up on that. And then I have sort of been hired as an independent online contractor, virtual assistant person thing, and I'm having some trouble getting through their orientation tutorial thing online. But technically when I do that, I will be approved and then I'll be able to actually do some work, and I don't know how much work that'll be. I don't know how much money I'll actually make, and if it's any kind of good money, then I will be working more. If it's not that good, I will probably keep looking for an actual job in person somewhere. That will pick up in August once we move and I know what's in the area and what I can get to and stuff. But I'm doing a lot of online searching right now, and that will take up some amount of time. So I'll have less reading time, but I still... Oh, and then when my foot actually gets better, I'll have to do a ton of packing. So things will slow down, but I hope that I can read as much as I can right now while I have a little more time, and then get used to audiobooks, because I'm surprisingly enjoying the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy audiobook quite a bit. And in part, I learned that it was supposed to be it started as a radio show that got turned into a book, and so I feel like you can feel that in the story. It's super good. I enjoy listening to it, and I don't like audiobooks very much. So that's a thing. So thank you for watching. That has been this past week and how the readathon has gone, and then what I hope next week will shape up into. I will see you guys next Saturday when I give you another update. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye. What the fuck? What is happening to my hair? This random way to deal with it and gosh, oh my god. Okay.